From classic fights to crossover stars, every fan remembers what first got them interested in MMA. And for many, this came in the form of an MTV reality show in the late 2000s. Today we look at one of the more curious artifacts of MMA's expansion era, one that turned its colorful and eccentric host into one of the sport's biggest stars. Welcome to the INC, and this is the story of Bully Beatdown. Bully Beatdown was first conceived by television producer Mark Burnett, the man behind successful reality TV formats including Survivor, The Apprentice, and Shark Tank. Burnett was first drawn to MMA in 2007, after reading how several fighters, most notably welterweight legend Georges St-Pierre, had taken up the sport as a means of countering bullying, and began pitching the idea of a competitive game show around the concept. After several months pitching the show to several companies, Burnett found a willing ally in MTV, who added the show to their 2009 spring schedule. The show was a perfect match for all parties. MTV had found success cashing on the reality TV boom of the 2000s, and believed an MMA-centric show would garner an elusive male market, while fans of the sport could enjoy further mainstream exposure, capitalizing on the success of The Ultimate Fighter. Show bosses looked outside of the box when it came to its host. Jason "Mayhem" Miller had earned a reputation as one of MMA's most colorful fighters, competing mainly in Japan and Hawaii, including wins over Robbie Lawler and Tim Kennedy. Miller's natural charisma and vibrant personality became one of the show's biggest attractions, and leading the North Carolina fighter to sign a big money deal with Strikeforce shortly after the show's first season. Bully Beatdown first aired on MTV on March 22, 2009. The show followed a straightforward premise. Mayhem would meet a victim regarding the issue with a bully, before confronting the man in question and offering them $10,000 to face a professional MMA fighter. In the first match, bully and fighter would compete in a 3-minute grappling-only round, with the victim receiving $1,000 every time the bully was submitted. The second match focused primarily on striking, where the victim would receive the remaining funds should the bully quit or get knocked out. Critical reaction to the show was less than stellar, with one critic describing the show as entertaining, but ultimately pointless. But it didn't stop the opening episode becoming the most watched on cable TV, with the 18 to 34 audience. It was easy to see why the show attracted a fan base. Despite having no previous presenting experience, Mayhem provided viewers with an affable, charming host, adding surreal humor to the show's premise, while MMA fans could enjoy some of the sport's biggest stars being showcased on a national scale. Due to a networking agreement with Pro Elite, Bully Beatdown was able to attract several notable names to the show, including future UFC champion Daniel Cormier and Eddie Alvarez. Even Mayhem himself donned the gloves for a Season 3 episode.
I'm a 6'1" Capricorn who likes long walks on the beach and books about Europe. My friends say I have a great sense of humor, but what I really want to do is kick ass.
Not every fighter appearance was a success. During a Season 2 episode in 2009, Bully Nathan was paired against former heavyweight champion Andrei Arlovsky. Despite pre-show warnings, Arlovsky chose to fight full pelt against his untrained opponent, leading to him being reprimanded by show bosses once recording had been completed. Arlovsky's appearance, however, was nothing compared to Elite XC alum Thomas Denny, who took on bodybuilder Dennis in the show's most infamous episode. Denny, a 44-fight veteran who faced the likes of Georges St-Pierre and Nick Diaz in his career, failed to submit his Russian opponent, before falling short in his bid to score a second-round knockout. Denny retired in 2013 with 27 wins and 21 losses, and holds the infamy of being the only man to fail to earn any money from the bully.
You made it without getting tapped out and 3 minutes in the ring. So, here's your $10,000.
Bully Beatdown continued to be a ratings success for MTV, being renewed for a second season that fall, followed by a third in 2010. But its increase in prominence led to questions over its legitimacy. As with many reality shows of the time, Bully Beatdown faced accusations that several elements of the show were staged, with the fights and relationships between the bully and victim coming under scrutiny. Big John McCarthy, who worked on the show as a referee and consultant, admitted on the podcast that while the fights themselves were real, Contestant recruitment was split into 3 categories: legitimate bullies and victims, actors answering audition calls, and the bully and victim being friends and splitting the winnings between them post-show, such as the infamous Dennis from Season 1. One notable example was Randall Bacon, who appeared in a Season 2 episode against Strikeforce champion Jake Shields. It turned out Bacon was in fact an actor with over 40 credits to his name, including roles in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and The Young and the Restless. Bacon's duplicity was one of several stories that would emerge from the show over the coming years.
So I hunted some guys down at Moore Park Junior College and asked them if they wanted to be on TV to make some money, and of course, it worked. We met up at my grandmother's house and formulated a bully victim story to pitch to Mark Burnett Productions. We wanted it to be perfect because they had to believe it was real for us to get on. Jesse and Colton showed me their scars and we made up stories about how they got them in my hands. We made sure that everything made sense and we all had identical stories to tell the casting crew before we even showed up at auditions.
Further scandals emerged behind the scenes, when Burnett was sued by a rival production company over claims he refused to pay them for the show. Big Heads Entertainment had developed a similar premise in 2007, with Burnett agreeing to offer the company a percentage of revenue to use the concept, an agreement Burnett backed out of, claiming the show had been operating at a loss, while a Canadian lobby group attempted to get the show cancelled due to believing the show sent out the wrong message about bullying. Maybe it was the staging accusations or an increasingly tired format, but by 2010 the shine had come off the Bully Beatdown Express, and despite being one of the channel's highest rated shows, MTV made the decision to axe the show at the end of its 3rd season. MTV would make another venture into MMA waters with 2012's Caged, a fly-on-the-wall series looking at the careers of 4 regional fighters, including future UFC flyweight Matt Schnell. Bully Beatdown proved both a blessing and a curse for Mayhem. The fighter's newfound stardom saw him secure a contract with Strikeforce and later the UFC when the 2 companies merged in 2011. Miller would lose his company debut to Michael Bisping before being embroiled in outside scandals including trespassing, assault, and domestic battery. After a one-sided loss to CB Dollaway, Mayhem was accused of allegedly assaulting a member of staff, and added with his outside demons, led to his release shortly after. The irony of the Bully Beatdown host being one himself, not lost on many fans.
You want to be a clown, you can do that later. Do that on your reality show, but I don't know. Then something happened here backstage after Mayhem's done. He's gone.
What happened, Sharon?
Just some bullshit that I don't want to talk about. We're on a crazy string here of dumb bullshit.
Mayhem continued to be embroiled in controversy in the years after, being arrested multiple times for burglary and further domestic violence charges, while an attempted comeback fell through when he weighed 22 pounds above the limit for a match in Italy in 2016. Mayhem's most recent scandal came in October 2021, when he was charged with felony assault and battery relating to an incident in a Californian bar, where he was forced to serve an 18-month prison sentence. While looked back wryly by modern fans, it's easy to forget how important Bully Beatdown was. Many cite the show as a key starting point of their fandom, thanks to its mix of star talent and Mayhem's colorful, if at times controversial personality. Bully Beatdown stands as a curious artifact from MMA's golden age, but could such a show work in 2023? Based on what we've seen in the sport in recent years, my answer is yes. This is the INC. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a video.